Women, children, elderly men, all refugees fleeing their own government. Their stories were harrowing. On the Sudan-Chad border, I heard on an FM radio what the outside world is not supposed to know. The Sudanese government is attacking its own civilians. This is a recording of Sudanese Air Force pilots flying over Darfur last month. Today, President Bashir of Sudan said the war in the west of his country was officially over and the humanitarian crisis was under control. I'm now crossing into Darfur, a state that has been sealed off from the international media for over a year, to meet the leaders of the rebel groups fighting the government in Sudan. I was travelling with the Sudanese Liberation Army, one of two rebel groups that have recently sprung up in Darfur to fight the Khartoum government. Sudan has never been short of insurgents, but this is an entirely new conflict. This force is largely Muslim, like President Bashir's government, but they claim they are being persecuted by the government simply because they are Africans, not Arabs. So what you have in Darfur is Muslim fighting Muslim, Arab fighting African. My guides were sometimes a little haphazard in their approach to military matters. They are a good-humoured bunch of soldiers, despite 2 years of close and bitter fighting with the government. At 7:30 the next morning, while some are performing morning prayers, their commander, Mohammed Adam, indulged in his favourite breakfast, Johnny Walker whiskey. After 2 days of travelling, I finally met with Mini Minawa, the military leader of the SLA.
You know, in Darfur, it's a very critical situation in Darfur right now. It is really ethnic cleaning in Darfur. The government of the Khartoum is trying to depopulate the area from the African people. The government wants to replace the African tribes to the Arab tribes in the area.
Because the Khartoum government is minority Arab, it's intent on putting down any African rebellion, be it Christian or Muslim. There is no doubt the SLA has a well-equipped arsenal. The Sudanese government states that the rebels received their arms from Eritrea and even Israel. The SLA say it wishes this was true, but that its weapons are captured from government forces. They feel misrepresented, even ignored by the world's media, so they seized every opportunity to put on a show for my camera. A rough and ready military parade was organised. Then their chief spokesman, amid much ceremony, delivered a message that would have been comical if it was not so serious.
The people of Darfur are facing a situation similar to that faced by the Jews during the Second World War from the Nazi regime, or the one faced by the modern civilized world from the international terrorism represented by Al-Qaeda. We appeal to UN to put in place a mechanism that protects the civilians and facilitates the delivery of relief to the displaced, to be observers in any peace talks that leads to the resolution of the problem of Darfur, because we don't trust the Khartoum government, and we believe that it will not abandon its agenda of ethnic cleansing.
The rebels fight a classic guerrilla war. They avoid major military confrontations with the government forces and use hit and run tactics. But it's difficult to tell who's winning in Darfur. The government claim that the rebels have been defeated, yet the rebels say they are holding their own. I asked to be taken into one of the many deserted villages I was seeing in Darfur. As we ran in, we didn't know if the government forces were still here. It turned out that Jajira village was almost empty, and it was here that I met Sahara, the local English teacher. She had only come back by chance to pick up some family belongings. I asked her to tell me what had happened.
My name is Zahra Abdurrahman Nuren Hassan.
And you're a teacher?
I am the teacher. This is school.
Who did this?
The enemy. Sudanese for our ruler, Omar Bashir. For the cars and the airplane and the thing, and also our enemy here. Look here. All the cases.
Sahara showed me how the soldiers that had attacked her village had put a bullet through all her water and cooking bowls.
And look like this. We no bowls, no blanket, no beds, no seat, no water, no nothing. I am teacher. Nearly come here, I am working in the school. But look at myself, because no dressing, no eating, no food, no water, no nothing. We are trembling, because we've been trembling because our mother, our aunt. We having nothing. We having none. We having none. Because I am loving my country, my country, my country, my country.
500 people used to live here. Now there are only 2. Just outside the village, we found hastily dug graves and a pile of bodies. It was impossible to say if they were civilians or soldiers. I was about to meet some of the people responsible for the atrocities at Jajira. The rebels had captured Sudanese government troops and took me to meet their prisoners. This is the first time Sudanese soldiers have been interviewed about the Darfur conflict.
تحركت من الخرطوم طبعا جاء أسروني هنا في جريرة. صرت في جريرة هنا.
نعرف الجزيرة يوم كم؟ يوم 14 واحد.
14 واحد. ما عندي لا علم. ما عندي طبعا قالوا لا طبعا مشاكل دلوقتي ما جينا سمعنا إلا هنا في دارفور هنا. مشاكل الناس الزروق دي ما جينا سمعنا إلا هنا.
يحيى إسحاق أبو بكر إسحاق من ولاية النيل الأزرق دمازين القرية الرقيوة. طبعا هناك في الدمازين كنت شغال في البحر. الدرديري محمد توتو ترى نبنا كدولي هواي ما هو قبضان نسوق جنة ضامن في المرقات يا دمون ها سوق تعرف بتخرطنا
جرجيري هنا طبعا هنا وجينا معنا الجنجويد ده جينا كنا ارتكزنا جنجويد وصفوا لنا احنا طبعا ما عارفين المعسكرات بوين لا وصفوا لنا الحله قالوا المعسكر قالوا ياخذ المعسكر مشينا هجمنا قدام المعسكر لقيناه الحله والمواطنين جرت طبعا خشوا جوا هذول شالوا الثياب وشالوا الشنط يعني لدرجه البيوت حرقوها.
Peace talks between the Darfur rebels and the government are due to start in Chad this week. The young soldiers of the SLA yearn for peace and a normal life.
والله أنا داني حر الإنسان بس لو انتهى لو قاعدين حي كده يا الله يعلم على حاجة أن نشبه الأمورنا بس.
وعايزين الحرية. الشيء اللي غلانا بأنه في ظلم بالذات في دارفور عامة. بأنه يجي السلام ويكون يعني الأمن مستتيب مع زي ما كان في الشرق يكون في الغرب.
Under pressure from the United Nations and aid groups, Khartoum has recently agreed to open up humanitarian corridors into Darfur. But for the hundreds of thousands of refugees who fled, their villages destroyed, it's too little, too late.